What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I wanted to talk about both silver and gold, along with the importance of financial diversification, but we also got to talk about the manufacturing report disaster that includes a major decline and expectations miss. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for daily videos, subscribe to my second channel for weekly videos, get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. Come and join us in the Precious Metals VIP Club for giveaways, live streams, deal alerts, and a whole lot more. And of course, make sure to go and get your 5 free stocks by downloading Webull, funding your account. If you refer one friend by tonight, they're going to give you 10 free random stocks. And if you refer 2 friends by the end of the month, they're going to give you either a free share of Starbucks, Apple, or Google. Everything will be linked in the description. So today is Monday, May 16th, 2022. The current spot price of silver as I'm filming the video is $21.43. It's up 32 cents or up 1.52%. A strong green day for the beautiful white metal so far. Spot price of gold is $18.1350. It's up $1.30 or up 0.07%. Up just a hair in the green for the beautiful yellow metal. In fact, when I first checked today, I believe it was 1807 and change. I was starting to think, considering we were already in the red to start the day, that we were actually going to see gold fall under $1,800 an ounce, but evidently not yet. And of course, the gold to silver ratio is in the 84 to 86 to 1 range, but of course that's as I'm filming the video at like 10:30 in the morning, not as I'm editing, posting, or as you're watching. So head on down to the comments and let me know the date and time you're viewing the video and what the current spot price is for you. I'm always curious. Alright, so today I obviously wanted to talk about the silver and the gold. As you can see on display right here, have a nice little selection, some silver coins, rounds and bars, some 3 nines, 4 nines fine, some 90%, as well as some fractional gold coins down there at the bottom. I also wanted to talk about the importance of diversification when it comes to finances, especially when we're on the brink of a potential recession. But before we can even get into the money, I think we should first talk about the currency and the general state of the economy, and even more specifically, the manufacturing report that just came out this morning. So for those of you who weren't aware, we've been waiting on some new data regarding manufacturing, and according to the analysts, the Empire State Manufacturing Index was expected to come in at 16.5, but according to the report released this morning, it came in at negative 11.6. This is not good, and it's not good for a couple of different reasons. Number one, it's not good for analysts to keep on missing expectations. In the past couple of weeks, we've seen a miss on GDP expectations, year-over-year inflation expectations, month-over-month inflation expectations, and core inflation expectations, and obviously now, manufacturing expectations. That's not a good sign. But two, and even more importantly, it's not good to see negative 11.6 because any number below 0 when it comes to these manufacturing reports not only shows a huge drop in orders and shipments, but that we are contracting. This is another big indicator that we are on the brink of an official recession, or that we could possibly be in one right now, which I don't think would shock many of us at all. But we won't know officially until around July or August when the GDP report for the second quarter is released. Remember, a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. We saw negative GDP growth in the first quarter, and we are currently right in the middle of the second quarter. So that's not something that we're going to officially know for another maybe 2 months or so. But also regarding manufacturing, a decline also usually means construction employment is falling. The report shows we actually added 2,000 construction jobs, which isn't in the negative yet, but the gauge shows that we are inflecting down. So the next manufacturing report, if we continue on this path, we're probably going to see construction jobs plummet and fall into the negative. So that's just a very quick rundown of the manufacturing report. I would suggest looking over it for yourself, and keep your eyes peeled for tomorrow. That's when the retail sales report is coming out. That'll be even more important data that can help us determine how close we are to a technical, on-paper recession. Now, I do want to get into silver and gold. As you can see right here on display, we have a Creatures of the North werewolf, a Creatures of the North kraken, 2 10-ounce bars, a sunshine bar and a bull bar, a 5-ounce Aztec calendar round, a nice little pile of Mercury dimes, and I'm pretty sure we have some Roosevelt dimes in here. We have some Walking Liberty half dollars. We have the Queen's Beast Yale, the Queen's Beast Greyhound, and then of course we have a 10th ounce Kookaburra, 10th ounce Britannia, 10th ounce Maple, 1/4 ounce Philharmonic, 10th ounce Eagle, 10th ounce Krugerrand, and 10th ounce Philharmonic when it comes to gold. But before we even really deep dive into a discussion about the precious metals, I just want to say that if you're seeing these numbers and the data and the reports, and you're seeing that dang near everything is on a decline, meanwhile inflation is still sky high, and you're beginning to think that maybe you should start bracing yourself for the likely coming recession, let me just say this. You should have started bracing yourself a long time ago. This is why preparing for the bad times during the good times is so important and so crucial. That's why I stress it year-round. Continue preparing yourself when it comes to the preps, when it comes to the stack, when it comes to whatever it is that you're working on. Make sure you continue strengthening your weaknesses and make sure you continue maintaining your strengths. You don't want to get to the point where you realize a couple weeks, a couple months, or God forbid, a couple years have gone by and you haven't really contributed to your own personal financial preparation system that you have set in place for yourself, for your family, maybe your friends, and you end up falling short when the bad times come up and surprise us. You don't want to be that person. You want to continue adding to your preps. You want to continue preparing yourself and become as well-rounded as you possibly can when it comes to different ways of preparing, different ways of bracing yourself, and different ways of combating inflationary times and recessionary times and all of that. It helps us stay far ahead of everyone else because the average person isn't preparing themselves. The average person doesn't even know what's going on. The average person doesn't even know that manufacturing reports even exist. So you want to stay ahead of the game. You want to stay multiple steps ahead of the game, and I think you can absolutely do so by diversifying in as many different ways as you can. So in terms of the likely coming recession, there are a lot of different things you can do, which is why diversification is absolutely everything to me. And if you are in the Precious Metals VIP Club, you know exactly what I'm talking about, especially when we do our live streams. For those of you who don't know, I live stream almost every single Monday morning for the market open, and I live stream almost every single Wednesday night for just a 2, 3, sometimes 4 hour long weekly gathering where we talk about what went on in the first half of the week and what we're expecting for the second half of the week. We game plan, we strategize, and we talk about a lot of different borderline recession-proof assets that we could be getting our hands on right now to better set ourselves up for success. That way, when inflationary times are upon us or recessionary times are upon us, we can lean on these assets, we can lean on these opportunities as a way of keeping ourselves afloat. And not only that, usually not only survive, but thrive as well. Because remember, inflation is when wealth transfers from those who are saving or those who aren't doing anything at all to those who are holding assets. That's what I believe, that's what I've seen, that's what I've experienced, and that's what I'm going to continue doing. So if you're not already in the Precious Metals VIP Club, I strongly recommend you come and hang out with us. The link will be in the description. I do monthly giveaways, live streams multiple times a week, deal alerts almost every single day on silver and gold. I post weekly vlogs, and there's a whole lot more, so the link will be in the description. Come and join us in the Precious Metals VIP Club. But away from the other types of assets, I wanted to focus on one particular asset today, or I guess technically 2 assets today, silver and gold. So like I said, and like I pointed out, and like I showed off, We have a nice little selection here today, and everything that you're looking at right here pretty much sums up what I've been going after over the last couple of years in terms of stacking. When it comes to gold, pretty much all I've cared about for the last couple of years would be fractional gold coins. I'll pick up some quarter ounce or some 10th ounce gold coins from time to time. I understand that I'm pretty weak on gold, and no, by the way, this is not all of my gold. This is just one of each different type of coin that I have. But I do understand that I'm weak on gold. I do have some gold locked away that you can't even see right now. But in terms of how much silver I have compared to how much gold I have, it doesn't really make sense. My personal gold to silver ratio, I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what it is. The actual gold to silver ratio right now is like 85-1. That is not in any way, shape, or form what my personal gold to silver ratio looks like. I don't even know what mine is, but mine has to be probably multiple hundreds to 1 at this point. I'm very weak on gold. I'm lacking when it comes to gold, and I'm well aware of that. I know, and it is something that I plan on strengthening over time, but to be honest with you, I would rather get a majority of my gold by converting some of my silver into it. I'd really rather not trade too much currency over the course of my life for the beautiful yellow metal. I would rather convert my dollars into silver at this time. Silver is what I believe to be the opportunity metal. I see far more room for growth. I see far more opportunity in the beautiful white metal as opposed to the beautiful yellow metal. I see a lot of opportunity for stability in the beautiful yellow metal, though. That's what I definitely believe. I believe both metals have their pros and cons, and I just posted a video on Saturday breaking down the biggest pros when it comes to silver, the biggest cons when it comes to silver, the biggest pros when it comes to gold, and the biggest cons when it comes to gold, weighing absolutely everything out and coming to a full-on conclusion as to why I prefer silver over gold. Even though I love them both, I do have a preference, and I think many of us do. I don't know if I've ever had a conversation with anybody out there who goes as close to 50-50 as possible on the precious metals. I think many of us have a preference. Some of us prefer gold over silver, maybe for the stability. Some of us prefer silver over gold, maybe for the growth potential. Whatever the case may be, I think many people have a precious metal of choice, and silver just so happens to be mine. But even though that may be the case, I understand the importance of diversification. I've been this way since the very beginning. The first metal I picked up between the two was silver. I have lasered in, I've been dialed in on silver for the last 4.5 years. I've picked up a little bit of gold from time to time over the last 4.5 years. Not a whole lot. A nice handful or two of gold. But here's the thing. Even though I consider silver to be the priority metal, for me at least, with diversification being even more important to me than silver, that right there is why I will pick up gold from time to time. Even though I don't think now is really the time to be all in on gold, I think it makes more sense to focus on silver over gold at this time, at least for me. That's not financial advice, by the way. This is just me documenting what I'm doing in my own personal experience. Even though that's the case, I understand the importance of diversification. So sometimes you have to be self-disciplined enough to say to yourself, I might want silver right now, but I might need gold right now. You got to separate what you want from what you need, if that's the conclusion that you come to. You got to figure out which metal makes more sense to be stacking right now, for the short term and for the long term. Now I'm in both metals for the long term, but in the short term, one metal might make more sense over the other metal. For example, right now, I think silver makes far more sense. When the gold to silver ratio gap really tightens up, depending on why it tightened up, it might be because silver dramatically went on the rise, meanwhile gold only rose up by a small bit. If that's the case, then it might actually make more sense to be focusing on gold at that time. It might actually be a little bit more logical to focus on the beautiful yellow metal if the beautiful white metal has been on a drastic incline. If silver is getting to the point where it's no longer undervalued, which, by the way, I don't know what that number would need to be for me to say to myself, okay, silver is no longer undervalued. I don't know at the moment. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. That's not something I'm worried about right now because I think silver is incredibly undervalued right now, so I just want to capitalize on that to the best of my ability. But with that being the case, I would say gold is definitely fair valued right now. I wouldn't say that gold is overvalued. I would just say that you could probably get more value when it comes to silver. At least that's just the way I see it. But what happens if silver goes up? What happens if silver is no longer undervalued? What if silver gets to the point where I begin to classify it as fair valued, and now both metals are fair valued, and I have way more of one metal than the other metal, and if they're both fair valued at that point, it might make a little bit more sense to really begin focusing on strengthening my weakness, which is gold. Although I wouldn't really say it's much of a weakness, I do have far more gold than the average person does. So I don't really want to say that I'm weak on gold. I always say that because the amount of gold I have in comparison to the amount of silver I have just really doesn't make sense. My gold to silver ratio is just like on another friggin' planet, it seems. But I believe diversification is absolutely everything, and you don't have to exclusively rely on the precious metals, by the way. You don't have to lean on them entirely. In fact, I would recommend that you don't. You want to diversify. You want to be well-rounded when it comes to building yourself a multifaceted financial preparation system. You don't want all your eggs in one basket, and I know people say that when it comes to silver versus gold, they say, oh, you don't want all your eggs in one basket. Don't just stack silver, stack some gold as well. I say you don't want all your eggs in one basket. Don't just stack the precious metals. Load up on something else too. Focus on some other assets. Focus on other realms that typically survive and thrive during recessionary times or inflationary times. You want to be well-rounded. You want to be diversified. You want to be all over the place. Because if precious metals take a hit, guess what? Something else can keep you afloat. And vice versa. If that something else takes a hit, the precious metals might be the one keeping you afloat. Or maybe they'll both be keeping you afloat. Maybe one will outperform the other. That's not really what it's about at the end of the day. I'm just trying to mainly escape the currency. The cool thing about silver, the cool thing about gold is regardless of what the spot price does, it doesn't impact how much silver and gold I have. If spot price were to double overnight tonight, I'd still have the same amount of silver and gold. I'd still have the same number of troy ounces of silver. If the spot price of silver were to fall down to $15 an ounce, guess what? I still have the same exact identical amount of troy ounces of silver. That's the cool thing about that. But when it comes to the dollar bill, when the dollar bill takes a hit or when our currency goes through extreme amounts of punishment as it's been over the last 2 years, do we really still have the same amount of value packed into the dollar bill? Do we still have that same purchasing power? No, because now everything's more expensive to get our hands on. Everything. Look at the inflation reports. Almost everything has been on the rise the last 4, 5, 6 months. Almost everything. Almost everything's getting more expensive. Meanwhile, silver and gold, a little bit cheaper to get our hands on right now. Which is why I don't see it as a bad thing. I'm taking advantage of the opportunity to the best of my ability. But those are just some of my thoughts regarding diversification and obviously my thoughts on the manufacturing report and everything that's going on right now. I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. When it comes to diversification, are you diversifying outside of the precious metals? Are you focusing on building yourself a business? Are you focusing on maybe buying real estate? Are you focusing on investing in the stock market so that you could become more well-rounded and brace yourself for impact or prepare yourself for recessionary times or potentially combat inflation? Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. If you guys like today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe. If you're new, subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive weekly content. Go and get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. We got t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, coffee mugs in a bunch of different designs. A lot of the products are helping us raise some funds and awareness for different charity organizations, by the way. DYDSS store will be linked in the description. Come and join us in the Precious Metals VIP Club, which is where I do giveaways every single month, live streams multiple times a week, deal alerts on silver and gold almost every single day. You can watch all of my videos early and commercial free, and every Saturday morning I post a brand new vlog. I just posted one this past Saturday, and it's a really important one. You're definitely going to want to go and watch that. And there are a ton of other perks as well. VIP Club link in the description. I guarantee you the value exceeds the cost. And of course, last but certainly not least, make sure to go and get your 5 free stocks by downloading Webull and funding your account. Today is your last day to do so. Then I believe it's going back down to 2 free stocks, so capitalize on that while you can. You can deposit any amount. It could be as little as a penny, and it still works. You still get your free stocks. If you refer one friend to the app, by midnight tonight, Webull's going to give you 10 free stocks for the referral. It's part of their advertising budget. Rather than wasting currency on billboards and TV commercials, they reward their users for helping them build their app with them. And you can do this 10 times, by the way. For 10 friends by midnight tonight, they're going to give you 100 free random stocks. Don't pass up on the opportunity. And if you refer 2 friends to the app, by the end of the month, Webull's going to give you either a free share of Starbucks, Apple, or Google. It's completely random. You get what you get and you don't get upset, but you win no matter what because you're still getting something out of it. Don't pass up on an opportunity. Webull link in the description. Time is running out. If you don't want the stocks, go and get them anyway. They're free. Then just sell them. Congratulations. Now you have the currency to go get you some silver or some gold if that's what you want. Webull link in the description. And I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know once again, what are your thoughts on everything shared in today's video? When it comes to the silver, when it comes to the gold, do you believe diversifying beyond the precious metals is the most important thing? Diversification, is that more important to you than the silver and gold? Because that's the way it is for me. Do you believe that the manufacturing report isn't looking so good right now? Do you think the next couple of reports that are going to be coming out are also not going to be looking good? And do you think we are technically in a recession right now, although we won't know officially until the beginning of the third quarter? Do you think we're going to see negative GDP growth in the quarter that we're in right now, which followed the first quarter of the year, which is also where we saw negative GDP growth, which would officially send us into a technical on-paper recession? Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.